Allen Oaklawn police have now just gone on the record telling their side of the story of what they say led up to what they're calling a physical confrontation between this 17-year-old boy and 3 Oaklawn police officers. Now, police say this incident started about 5:30 yesterday evening when an officer tried to pull over a car. That car complied. They said that the car did not have a valid registration and that they could smell cannabis coming from that car. Police pulled the car over. You see the driver step out of the vehicle, place his hands on the car. Officers searched that person. When somebody got out of the back seat of that car, that is 17-year-old Hadi Abudela. And you can see in this police video that 17-year-old boy takes off running from police. Well, immediately, Oaklawn police called over the radio and several more officers got involved. You can see dashcam video from other officers chasing that teenage boy around the area of 95th Street. Well, the video then picks up again near 95th and McVicker, and you can see that 17-year-old boy, Hadi Abudela, is already on the ground. There are 2 officers who have him pinned on the ground, one punching his legs, the other repeatedly hitting his head. And police say in that video, what's difficult to see is they say that 17-year-old boy has a bag around his body that he refuses to release. Now, at one point, the audio cuts out on this video, but you can hear police yelling something about a pressure point. They say they repeatedly tried to subdue this 17-year-old, and they say that 17-year-old would not comply. They were trying to get him to release that bag, and they say he would not do so. They tased him, and ultimately they were able to handcuff him. Well, then this is the picture of the gun that police say they were able to finally recover from inside that bag. They say it is a .25 caliber gun, and it was loaded with 3 rounds of ammunition. This is how Oaklawn police described that situation to us just a few minutes ago.
At that point in time, they used control tactics. They used leg strikes. They used strikes. They tried to release his hands. He wouldn't release them. The second officer then drive stunned him with a taser, which is part of his training. At that point in time, the offender then complied. He was cuffed, and then, as you saw, he was put in the squad car.
Now, police say one of their officers was injured in this incident but has been released from the hospital. And the family describes this situation entirely differently. This is a picture of 17-year-old Hadi Abudela that was released to us by his family. And this is what he looks like right now. They say laying in a hospital bed here in Oaklawn. They say he is badly bruised and has fractures to his head and his body. Well, an eyewitness was also able to capture a portion of this confrontation on cell phone video yesterday. This is video that we've seen before, and an eyewitness recorded this cell phone video that just shows about a minute of the confrontation, and it does not show what leads up to it. The woman who recorded it said she did not see what prompted the incident, but her video appears to show 17-year-old Hadi Abudela on the ground with 2 officers repeatedly punching him in the legs and in the head. The video later shows a 3rd officer appearing to pick something up off the street. Well, the Council on Islamic Relations is denouncing these officers' actions, and a crowd of protesters showed up here outside the Oaklawn Police Department this afternoon, many of them furious with how they say these officers handled this situation. Many of them are demanding that the officers be fired or at least placed on administrative leave and be investigated. This is how the woman who recorded that confrontation explained what she saw and what the 17-year-old boy's mother is now saying about what happened to her son.
As he's running, I see the police grab him, but he stopped. Like, it was no resistance, it was nothing. It was just, he was calm. And then next thing I know, they tackle him on the ground, and then they just start overly beating him.
When I saw that video, it devastated me. It broke me. My stomach was in knots that I see my son in fear, in pain. He's very helpless. He's got 3 men that are triple his size attacking him for no apparent reason.
That 17-year-old boy, the person who was at the center of this incident, is still in the hospital. His family says he is in and out of consciousness as a result of these injuries. Police did confirm for us just a little while ago that they've not yet been able to interview that 17-year-old boy, but they say their charges are pending against him. As for those 3 officers you see in the video, one was not back at work today because he had to have follow-up medical appointments as a result of that situation. But police tell us that there will be some kind of investigation, but they believe their officers handled everything according to proper training.